So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and we're here on the test server. The 9.20.1 test server went live yesterday. All the changes you're well aware of, I'm sure. Lots of changes to the British tanks, including the introduction of this new tier 10 heavy tank, the Super Conqueror. This replaces the FV, which is currently the tier 10 tank, and if you own the FV and it's in your garage, it will be swapped out for this baby. You'll keep the FV as some kind of special, well, premium-y type tank, which is cool. So you get effectively a free tier 10 if you choose to. So you've seen a lot of, I'm sure everybody's seeing a lot of people grinding the Conqueror at the moment, trying to get to the Super Conqueror or get to the FV in time for the new patch coming in. I'm doing the same at the moment, so I thought, well, let's hop on the test server and see whether it's worth it. And this is the baby. First impressions are very favourable. It's a nice looking vehicle. I mean, it's unmistakably like the Conqueror at tier 9, but it's got all this extra spaced armour around here. And it's not just on the turret. If you look, let's zoom in here, oop, on the edge there, on the front plate, looks to be spaced armour as well. So in theory, that should give you a lot of protection against heat, against HE, and basically improve your well, survivability. It's a nice looking tank, I have to say. Still should be the Centurion, but hey, we won't go back over that one. So yeah, let's have a quick look at it in the tech tree. Here we go. So you come down the Churchill, Black Prince, Carnarvon, Conqueror, Super Conqueror, and there it is, sitting there beautifully presented. So let's see if there's any history about this thing. A variant of Conqueror tank, Conqueror tank with extra armor protection, manufacturing the first half of the 50s and used for testing the Dart and Melkara guided anti-tank missiles. During testing, the vehicle played the role of the heavy tank that would potentially appear in the future. Never saw mass production. So yeah, they bring out a prototype type tank instead of the Centurion, which was real. I said I wasn't going to go over that. So let's hop into details on this thing. 120mm gun you'll be very familiar with from the Conqueror. 6.45 rounds per minute, 259 penetration, 262 with APCR, and 120 with a special HESH shell. So high penetration HE is very effective. 400 with the AP and APCR, 515 with that special HESH HE shell. Dispersion is a very good for heavy tank, 0.33 is very good, an aim time of 2 seconds, so pretty much standard as it is with a lot of the British tanks. Highly accurate, pretty fast firing gun, but not massive alpha, not massive, but 400 is pretty good. So we're getting well, admittedly I've got the gun loader and the vents here, which are giving me, what's that giving me, 350 extra, so it's about 270 base DPM, and so just with the rammer and with vents I'm getting 3000, which is kind of where you want to be, I guess, especially at tier 10. Turret traverse is okay, 34 degrees per second. Gun depression is a little bit disappointing, only -7. I would expect it to have been a bit better than that. Aim time, well, yeah, with the vents I'm getting 1.88 and dispersion of 0.31, which is, as I say, excellent. Survivability, it's slightly less hit points than the FV, 2,350. I think, if I remember rightly, the FV had 2,500, so about 150, which is surprisingly. And this armor has changed since the sort of leaked material on it. So it's now frontal armor 152, 101 at the side, and 38 at the rear. Now, I'm sure when I was looking these details up before, the side was going to be much weaker than that, so 101 is extremely good and makes it pretty good at side scraping. Turret is very good as well, 279, plus of course you got the spaced armor, which hopefully will add a lot to that. Only 88 on the side and 69 at the rear. The FV's turret was pretty much well, rock solid all the way around, but we'll have to see how that how this spaced armor affects the turret. Let's hop over to Tanks GG and take a look at it. Okay, so here we are on Tanks GG, and yeah, there's a shitload of spaced armor. I would have thought we would have bounced, no, we'd be able to bounce a lot more shells with this than I'm actually experiencing. Certainly heat and HE should have a real problem against us. So this plate here is spaced armor, 20 mils of spaced armor. You've got this space armor, another 20 mils on the turret. So it's quite difficult to see the penetration values. So yeah, if you hit that front plate head on, you're getting 250. Best part of effective armor. If it's angled like that, that's virtually impenetrable. 300. Yeah, that's pretty impressive actually. It's very impressive. Under the gun, 300. Turret here, 300. Out here, 300 and auto bounce. Top of the gun looks to be, oh well, actually look at that, that's it. Actually 50 millimeters of armor. So at that angle, that's an auto ricochet. It looks green, but it's not. Well, it is green, but it's only green if you drop a shell right on top. So that armor is actually very, very effective. Side armor. There's a little funny little. What is that? It's a little sort of very thick piece of armor just there. That's weird. 400 mils. 350 to 400 mils. Wow. So if you're angled side scraping, yeah, look at that, 280, about 100 mils of armor with the space from the tracks. Oh my goodness, look at that, that just eats it up. Yeah, this thing it's got quite some armor. It really has got some armor. So lower plate is horrible. So if you're facing this thing, well, it's not horrible, 100 millimeters. Effective 175, so yeah, if it's angled 200, even that's not too bad really. That's really not bad. This thing has got quite a bit of armor on it. I'm intrigued by those little blocks on the side there, but beside them is a bit weaker, so go figure. So yeah, spaced armor front plate and also these cheeks. And the tracks are pretty damn big, which counts as 2 lots. In fact, that armor. Yeah, look at that, 2 lots of spaced armor there. No way you're going through that thing. Interesting. Quite brute actually, if you look at that armor profile. So mobility-wise, the exchange for the extra armor on the Conqueror, and indeed the tier 9 Conqueror's got extra armor, is sacrifices a little bit in terms of mobility. Certainly isn't as mobile as it was. Well, this never existed, but as the Conqueror is not as vulnerable, not as mobile as it used to be because of the extra armor. This weighs 78 tons. 950 horsepower engine gives you 12 power ratio, which is okay for a heavy. Top speed is only 34, which is not great, but it really wiggles around nicely. It feels nice to drive. 27.7 degrees per second, or traverse speed, is actually pretty useful. Concealment, well, it's a big thick heavy, so forget about that. 6.62% spotting if stationary. And view range is a very healthy 400 base. I'm getting 9 from the vents that I've fitted, so that's increasing that, but it is 400 base, which means you won't need coated optics or anything else, because with a decent crew you're going to be up to pretty much its maximum. So let's stick the crew back in. This is my well, this is currently on the real server in my Conqueror. On this server it's on the it's in my Carnarvon, so they're pretty reasonable crew. On their third skills, they've got brothers in arms, so that really does help with everything. So aim time is now 1.83 and dispersion is only 0.3, so That's rather nice, and DPM has gone up a little bit more to 3,126. So let's pop out there, see what we can do. It is the test server, so I'm not expecting huge amounts. People spam gold. Okay, Corellia, a tier 10 game, obviously. Does look mighty fine, this tank. Just shame it doesn't perform mighty fine. Let's head up to the hill. It feels to me that the new patch has sort of killed some of the identity of the British heavy tanks. The higher tier ones anyway. They used to be known for rapid DPM, sorry, and fairly mobile heavy tanks. So you use them almost like a medium, a heavy medium. They seem to have plastered armour all over them now, and that seems to be sort of trying to set them up to be something completely different. Sorry about that, bit of a glitch. Yeah, I'm not sure that's necessarily a good thing for them. They had a role to play. I think that's the point. Now they just seem like any other poor heavy. There's some serious fire coming in there. See if his armour can hold up, huh? Oh, joy. Well, that time it did. Didn't manage to pen the oh, there goes the RT, of course. Standard round makes a change. Blimey, we blocked that heat shell. That's the first. Not seen an awful lot of blocking going on with this tank. Blocked another shell. APCR this time. I have changed the skill round, and I didn't really need that against the. Yeah, look at this. We're blocking him. Wow, that's a first. Let's go for a HE shell, because that 7 heavy is side scraping like a boss there. Ah, he penned me, but I did block the other fella. Can't pen him even with that. Can't do any damage with him even with HE. There's the RT. Yeah, that's not working. That's not working. Okay, well, let's probably kill us. Yeah, there you go. Ah. Thought I could try and, in the old days I could have tried the mobility there, but so I actually blocked some shots there, quite a lot of them. If the APCR rounds and the heat shells, blocked nearly 4,000 damage blocked, but the gun was shit. So, I don't know. I still don't really get what this tank's role is anymore. If you know, yes, you get into hold down position, you will block shots, but then most reasonable heavy tanks can do that. So does this really help? I question it. I really question it. Anyway, back with the result. So I think that says everything. I did diddly squat and got a 3rd class. I think that shows that this tank is struggling. It doesn't seem to be competitive. I really don't see its role. 870 damage. 9 shots fired, hit with 8, only did damage with 2. Took 13 hits, 6 of which penned, 7 of which bounced. So blocked nearly 4,000 damage. But, you know, you don't really need a tank to block. You know, the whole beauty of the old British heavy tanks was the fact that, okay, their DPM was fantastic and their alpha was shit, but you could get round things and take them down. You can't get round these things, but not with this tank. 16,000 credits, lost 24,000 in the end, so it's expensive to run as well. Okay, don't have a premium count on the test server. Would have still lost me 16,000 on that game on a 3rd class. You know, it's not like it was a complete no-hoper. That was a 3rd class. 1,300 experience with the ×2 would have been 2,000 with a premium account. So beautiful, but irrelevant. I just don't really see why you would want to get this tank. I've been grinding my, well, I was going to say I'm grinding my arse off on the Conqueror. I haven't been. I've just been making a bit more of an effort on the Conqueror to try and get to the FV. But I think I'm going to try even harder to get to the FV so that I can use that rather than this thing. Because this is pretty, but pretty irrelevant, I think is what I would say. Let's try another game though. Okay, so another assault game and another tier 10 game. We're defending this time. Now in theory, the excellent view range of this thing should be very good in this kind of setup. We shall see. I'm going to try and head out to the left wing. I don't know whether I've got the speed to get there at any time soon. But I don't feel I can really do much in the city. I don't think this thing is enough of a brawler. Oh, dear, they haven't got much, have they? Oh, I've gone the other way. I think I'm going out to the left and then I turn and go to the right. Oh well, that was what I meant all the time, obviously. Obviously. Our light tank hasn't even moved. That's a good start. Is there any artillery? There's one artillery. Big F-off artillery. Spotted already? Really? And I can't even see him. Where is he? You are kidding me. Where did he hit me? In the side. Well, that's an inauspicious start. I couldn't even get an outline for him, and yet he was penning me from that kind of distance with ease. No pen. Where did that shell go? That's more like it. Didn't pen. That's more like it. That's the back of the turret on it. Surely to goodness that should have gone through. Come on, come up a bit. Back of the turret, nothing. Like I say, the thing that frustrates me with this, it just doesn't seem to have a defined role. Is it a support tank? Is it a battle tank? How do you play it? You know, what are you supposed to do with this thing? It's clearly not a brawler. I've got no chance of penning him, so there's no point firing. Unless he comes up a bit. Tracked him. Still can't get over that Kranwagen was able to just keep firing at me, even though I couldn't get any kind of outline on him. Spotted again? Who was that spotted? Oh, was that Pattern? Damnation. Oh, flipping egg. Now he's just gonna pet. Oh, he didn't. Blimey. Let me out of the way. You are kidding me. Crying out loud. I couldn't get around him. That just says everything about this tank. It can't even circle a Stuntwagen 103B. Oh dear. So yeah, frustrating. So frustrating. You can probably tell from my voice. I have played, I don't know, 50 games, something like that, on the test server with this thing, and I still don't really get it. I just don't. I don't really understand what it is you're supposed to do in it. It just seems to me it should be. It's decked out like it's a main battle tank, but it's not good enough to go brawling with something like an IS-7. Its armour will bounce quite a lot, but it has to be in completely the right situation. If you can't get into that perfect hold down position, you're going to really struggle. Because your hull can be penned easily, and even then I was finding that from time to time my turret was still getting penned, and I know the commander's hatch is a bit of a weak spot, but now go figure, why was that a third class? We actually did some damage in that game. So third class, 5 for effect, 2,400 damage, 703 base XP, fired 14 shot, hit with 12, penned with 6, 2,000 damage, as I say. We took 8 hits, 6 of which penned, 2 did not. And that's because we couldn't get into a perfect hold down position. I thought I was against that Kranwagen, but he just bang straight through me. And he wasn't in Vibe. Was he Vibe Premium? I don't think he was. Doesn't tell me there, does it? Anyway, 30,000 credits nearly. Look at the costs of running this vehicle. 20,500 loss. Even if I've been running a premium account, would have been 4,000. Nearly 5,000 credits, and we made 703 XP. Would have been 1,055 with a premium account. So all in all, I am hugely disappointed by this tank. I don't get really that it's an upgrade. So to be caveat is I haven't really done much with the FV. So, you know, I'm not 100% certain about how it plays. But everything I've seen of it, and I've played it a couple of times on the test server in the past, and quite enjoyed it actually, that high DPM gun. is a really good fun. And I just feel that they've lost the character of the British Heavy line. That mobility that you had as a sort of heavy medium tank isn't there anymore, and that's a real shame, because that was one of the things that made this line fun to play. You played it more like a medium. This thing can't really do that because it hasn't really got the mobility. It hasn't got the armour to be a brawler heavy fighter. A Ridge Warrior, in theory, yes, but only against softer vehicles, because 259 standard pen, unless you dab the 2 key, isn't really going to help you very much. 326, yes. So you're a one-trick you're relying on being top tier against tier 8s and tier 9s, it feels like, and then I think it could be real fun. Now, test server, you never get those kind of matchups, so because everyone's playing tier 10s, so you know, it may be this would be fun in a tier 8 game, you know, where you are one of the 3 top tiers. But you know how matchmaking works these days. You just don't get that kind of matchup anymore, not on a regular basis. So I'm seriously disappointed by it. I seriously think it's a downgrade from the FV, and it may be pretty, but it just doesn't seem to have any role in the battlefield to me. If it's going to play the sort of role they seem to want it to play, I think it needs a lot more armor, and the better pen on the standard gun. Frankly, that's my honest opinion. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Looking forward to getting this baby. Are you grinding a Conqueror really hard to try and get to the get this updated in time for the patch? I am, but I think now I'm doing it to keep the FV because I want to get the FV because I think it looks a hell of a lot more fun than this tank does. Anyway, let me know what you think. Comments are always welcome, and if you like this video, give it a little thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know down below. What do you think about this thing, though? I'd be really interested. Anybody else hopped on the test server and played it? Have you had any more success than I have? I've seen a couple of videos of people who've had monster games in it, but you see that always. You see people having monster games in the DW2, and that's a shite tank. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you think. Anyway, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously. It is just a game after all, and I will see you again soon. And by the way, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'll see you again soon. GamerDom signing out.